Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
The tavern was the discreetest location they could meet. No one batted an eye when lords came down in disguise to feast on food, wine, and the occasional courtesan. Vardis hunched over a table in the centre of the room. Riswell had told him that sticking to a shadowy booth or lurking in an obscured corner was too obvious. It was better to hide in plain sight, and so here he was gasping down a tankard of bitter northern ale. Lord Erenstar had taken measures since the Civil War to make sure not a single drop of Southern Andal piss water was in his lands. He missed his wine cellar in Ghoultown, but alcohol was alcohol. The sound of another tankard hitting the table drew his eyes up from the table to see his fellow conspirator Lord Riswell. After calling the tavern keeper to send over some ale for himself, Riswell went right into business. How did your meeting go? The negotiations were a complete disaster. If anything, I've made relations worse. But it was to be expected. The king and Hand suspected as much, as it's well known the son is just as stubborn, jumped up and dangerous as his father. Lord Riswell nodded. It would be many years before tensions settle. Taking a sip of his own tankard, Lord Riswell hummed contentedly. Fine ale they have here, though. Vardis grimaced. How can you stomach that? It's certainly not the best tasting. Riswell paused to take another generous sip. But I think it's something you have to grow up with to appreciate. I have no doubt it will grow on you in a decade. Just have a tankard once in a while. Vardis chuckled at that. The alcohol in it will help with that. The two lords settled into a comfortable silence, sipping their drinks and slowly blending into the other increasingly jolly patrons of the tavern. What are you going to do on your end then? Vardis eventually asked. Well, now that you've gone to Erenstar already, I'll bet that he's arrogant enough to think he has cowed the crown to stay out of his business. That's where I'll slip in. How are you going to get into his keep? Walk through the front door, Riswell said into his ale as he took another gulp. Now that you are done with your end, Vardis, I have no doubt that Erenstar will be glad to see an old god-worshipping first man come to his door, especially instead of some stuffy noble from the capital. Oh, no offence, of course. Vardis laughed, a hard laugh straight from his gut, taking his tankard to clank against Lord Riswell's drink. None taken, my friend. I'm a frilly soft, aren't I? What are you going to look for once you're inside? Riswell shrugged. I have no doubt I'll find something incriminating. Vardis couldn't help but once again let out a loud, bellowing laugh. He took another glance around him at the prying eyes before directing a knowing smirk towards his fellow council member and polishing off the rest of his ale. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Grand Kingdom of Andalia, where we have just had the coronation of High King Lister Sevenstar, the first of his name, the 16-year-old boy king who is unfortunately suffering very much from rabies, which gives us a -7 health penalty, which is not great really, is it? I'm not too sure what's going to happen to him. I am worried, if I'm honest. Very, very worried. We have just married our wife, so whether or not he'll be able to get her pregnant in time with her genius trait, which would have been nice, we'll have to wait and see. So let's unpause. I'm pretty sure we was about to get into a tournament, weren't we? Oh, and Septon Colin Coldwater has demanded a trial by combat and is summoning his champion to Sevensport. Okay, I wonder who his champion will be. He will remain in the dungeon until then. The tourney being held in Sevensport is bringing in many visitors to the area. The surrounding roads, inns and villages are reportedly very busy, and Sevensport itself is full of merchants and small folk selling their wares. This is a welcome boost to the capital, which is now prospering, which is perfect. Let's just hope that King Lister can live long enough. Tourney of Sevensport. The first day of jousting is complete, with many lesser riders having already been eliminated from the competition. Now over the coming days, the remaining men shall compete in the final list, tilting until only one champion remains. Let's watch every tilt. Let's see what happens. Maester Damon has come to see you and offers treatment for your illness. He explains that there are several different types of treatment he can offer. As long as you know what you're doing, my life will perform an experimental treatment. The outcome of this treatment can be extreme. The risk of this treatment will vary depending on his capabilities. Well, Maester Damon is very, very capable. As we know, he's a renowned physician and incredibly intelligent. Oh, I'm so... Oh, he could go, as long as you know what you're doing, the risk of this treatment will vary depending on his capabilities. There is a chance the treatment has a negative effect. My life is in your hands, Damon. We're probably going to die anyway with rabies, so we've got to risk it and hope that Damon's exceptional skills can help. The guards drag Colin Coldwater up from his cell and throw him at your feet. I've come for justice, he says. By right of birth and blood, I demand a trial by combat. You have that right. I will select somebody to stand for the king. Who should be the champion in trial by combat against Colin Coldwater? Well, we have Lord Benfrey Lancer with his 195 personal combat skill, which would be 200 if not for the fact that he's stressed. We have Daffin Darkblade, who has stepped forward, the 20-year-old formidable fighter with 100 personal combat score. And we have Lord Benfrey Highstar, who has also stepped forward with a 100%, but he's quite old. And then Quentin Botley, a skilled fighting Ironborn, but he is also extremely old. It doesn't say who's fighting for Septon Connacht, and I think I just seen something bad then when I moved that out of the way, but we'll find out. Lord Benfrey Lancer is skilled at arms. Yeah, go on, Lord Benfrey, you can win that for us. Maester Damon informed you that he had identified the tainted tissue, which was the root of your disease, and that removing it would most likely cure you. You were most pleased and agreed to the surgery. However, in hindsight, you wish that Damon told you that the tissue was your face. The treatment was successful, but I have paid a heavy price. We're cured of our disease, but we are disfigured and severely injured. Oh, we've lost half our nose. Ouch. But rabies is gone. We are severely injured, but rabies is gone. That's the main thing. That is the main thing. And I'm sure our wife seems like a nice person. I'm sure she'll love us either way. Just got to hope that he gets over his injury now. Lord Benfrey steps forward. I'll stand for you, your grace. Fight well, Lord Benfrey. Fight well. Septon Colin Coldwater has been slain by Lord Benfrey. His final plan failed. The gods are in my favour. Well, no one was going to beat Benfrey flipping Lancer. Where the guy is literally the Jesus Christ of Andalia. Sir Barth Rosby and Lord Byron Dondarian were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and broken lances, Lord Byron was eventually unhorsed, leaving Sir Barth to be declared the winner. Sir Barth Rosby. Let's have a look at Sir Barth Rosby then. Okay. Is he the heir to Rosby? Yes, he is. He's actually pretty decent. He's not bad, to be fair. Would he be willing to come to court? Unfortunately, why have we sent you a gift? You're a very, very talented fighter. No, you're an heir. That's a shame, because you're very decent. I'm going to make you important. You could play a part. And the next guy, Sir Enger Sevenstar and Sir Victorian Reef, I'm guessing, yes, were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and broken lances, Sir Victorian was eventually unhorsed, leaving Sir Enger to be declared the winner. That's our cousin, isn't it, and bodyguard. Only a trained fighter, so he's done well there. Well played, Sir Enger. Sir Belidos Shycross and Sir Ryman Darkblade were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and broken lances, Sir Ryman was eventually unhorsed, leaving Sir Belidos to be declared the winner. Sir Belidos Shycross, the Maester at Arms of the Dragon's Den. Paranoid. Cynical, honourable. Another interesting character. He's the one who's married to a Corbury, isn't he? Yes. And very, very much in Danny's Corbury's pocket. I wonder if we can invite you to court if we sent you a little gift. No. That's a shame. I was hoping. Oh, you've got some kills as well. Was slayed by, okay, Sir Conrad during a trial by combat, okay. I was hoping we might be able to get you away from your influencer in Danes, but it looks like your loyalty is well and truly with him. Who did you go against? Sir Ryman Darkblade. Yeah, he's not the exceptional fighting Darkblade, is he? That's the one in our service. Sir Walter of Renwick and Sir Jamar of Artisfort were the next to joust. No idea whoever those are. Were the next to joust left after many tilts and broken lances. Sir Jamar was eventually unhorsed, leaving Sir Walter to be declared the winner. Sir Walter of Renwick, a very old man, skilled fighter and a duelist, unmarried. Would he be willing to come to court? Seems not. Which is a shame. And who did he go against? Sir Jarmor of Artisfort. Another skilled fighter who's married to a very old lady. Oh, he is 49. Sir John Hornbreaker and Sir Lionel Greenstar were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and broken lances, Sir Lionel was eventually unhorsed, leaving Sir John to be declared the winner. Sir Lionel Greenstar, who's actually pretty decent. He's not actually the Lord then. His father is the Lord. Okay. Against Sir John Hornbreaker, who we know is he's a trained fighter, but he's a giant and strong. Well played. Does have his twin sons as well. Well done, a fine joust. We could probably be finding him some land if he continues to serve as well as he has been. Lord Benfrey Lancer and Sir Alan Stone were the next to joust in the list. Well, we know how this is going to end. After many tilts and broken lances, Sir Alan was eventually on horse, leaving Lord Benfrey to declare the winner. Is Alan Stone any good? Wow. Yes, he is. Lord Lister... Okay, he's Lord Lister the Merciless is of Dartmoor's bastard son, Sir Alan Stone, and he's very, very impressive. He does have a daughter as well, Kington. Do you know what? Can we invite him to court? Because he's very impressive. I'd love to be able to invite him to court if we can get him on side. No, we literally can't invite anyone to court today. Who's he in the serve? Weak claim on the High Lordship of the Fingers. So he's, serving Daenerys the Wise. Daenerys the Wise has got some pretty decent people under his rule. And then obviously we know all about Benfrey Highstar, so we don't need to look into him. Lady Teresa Shycross and Sir... Oh, ladies in the joust. Interesting. I've not seen that before, even with Pier and stuff. With an extra joust. In the list, after many tilts and break lances, Sir Rickard was eventually unhorsed, leaving Lady Teresa to be declared the winner. Well played, Lady Teresa Shycross. She's unmarried and strong. Interesting. Do you know what? Have we got a marriage that we can do with you just to try and get that strong trait? How old are you? 25. We could go with Lucas Malister or Andrian Yellowbrook, who I think we should make this guy more important. He's the only R'hllor worshipping guy that we've got, and he's an Andal. And they've been around for a while. Let's see if we can marry him to her. Yes, we can. Perfect. Who did she go off against? Sir Clifton, who's a duelist, but nothing too special. And next are Oliver Snow and Sir Ben Lancer. After many tilts and break lances, Sir Ben was eventually unhorsed, leaving Lord Oliver to be declared the winner. Oliver Snow. He's pretty decent as well. No idea who he is. He serves under the sisters. Well played. He's a decent fighter, but there's nothing too impressive about him. Lord Jason Brightstone and Sir Grennan Maiden with an extra joust. After many tilts and break lances, Sir Grennan was eventually unhorsed, leaving Lord Jason to be declared the winner. Lord Jason Brightstone, pretty decent. Another one of Daenerys Corbury's vassals. A lot of his vassals are doing well in this. Lord Hugh Royce and Sir Norbert Seymour with an extra joust in the list. After many tilts and break lances, Sir Norbert was eventually unhorsed, leaving Lord Hugh to be declared the winner. Yes, that's the one who unhorsed us. He's pretty decent. Lord Hugh of Runestone. Sir Patrick of 54 and Sir Dennard Clifton with an extra joust. After many tilts and broken lances, Sir Dennard was eventually unhorsed, leaving Sir Patrick to be declared the winner. Anything decent? Oh wow, I love that sigil. That sigil is awesome. You're in the service of Lord Wendell of Chiltern. I'm going to make... You're very impressive. You are a landed knight. Yes, the Castle of 54. So you're underneath Wendell. Yeah, I love that sigil. I just love the colours. It's really nice. A fine joust. The next are Oliver of Sourshorn and Daffin Darkblade. After many tilts and break lances, Sir Daffin was unhorsed. Well, that surprises me. To some random lord I've never heard of, who's also pretty impressive. So we'll keep an eye on him. Sir Garin Brightmire and Prince Eldon Durandon were the next to joust. Durandon. Okay, we've got a Durandon prince in the court of Dondarrion, which is interesting. He's married to another Stormlander, another Durandon, which is interesting. And Garin Brightmire has succeeded. Perfect. Who's his wife? Just some randomer. Lord Marwyn Crescent and Lord Colmore Brightmire were the next to joust, and Lord Colmore was unhorsed, leaving Lord Marwyn of Luna Woods to progress. Very impressive character. I don't know why he's not important. Very impressive, formidable fighter of House Crescent there. We can now get on to the next stage of the tourney. I can't believe we've been disfigured. That's interesting, though. It's an interesting turn of events. The minstrel sang and the ladies wept. The minstrel sang and the lords laughed. His performance at my feast was above my expectations, and I have congratulated myself for hiring him. Sing that ballad once more, please. We gain 1 diplomacy, and general opinion improves by 2, which is good. So we're keeping people on side despite our horrific disfiguration. Sir Ryan of Harwick and Sir Marlon Rosby with an extra joust. After many tilts and break lances, Sir Marlon was eventually declared the winner. Oh wow, and you're a first man, Faith of the Seven, formidable fighter, and you're only 23. Surely we can invite you to court. Yes, perfect. This guy is impressive. Of House Harwick. We could probably do with getting him a better sigil, but Harwick isn't too bad if we get rid of the of. Decent. Very Andor looking for a first man. Interesting. The next two joust were Benfrey Lancer and Lord Harrion II Lord Harrion II Firehand. Okay. Which is interesting. And Benfrey Lancer has been declared the winner. That's the second time that those two have jousted. Poor Harry and having to get Benfrey Lancer twice. I think Benfrey Lancer's probably going to win this, isn't he? Sir Enger Sevenstar and Sir Patrick of 54 were the next joust, and Sir Enger has been declared the winner, our cousin. Sir Walter of Renwick and Sir Oliver of Sourshorn, and Sir Walter of Renwick, that old guy again, has won. Sir John Hornbreaker and Sir Garin Brightmire. Sir John Hornbreaker has won. Lady Teresa Shycross and Sir Belados Shycross were the next to joust, which is interesting. The Lord against the Lady, and the Lady has succeeded. Well played. Lord Hugh Royce and Sir Barth Rosby were the next to joust, and Lord Hugh has progressed. Lord Marwyn Crescent and Lord Jason Brightstone, and Lord Marwyn of Luna Woods has progressed yet again. So we are getting through to the later stages now. It looks like Benfrey is taking down some sort of small rebel army in the Vale. Sir John Hornbreaker and Lord Hugh Royce were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and broken lances, Lord Hugh was eventually in horse, leaving Sir John to be declared the winner. Well played, Sir John Hornbreaker. A fine joust. A son was born to Sir Victorian of Cape of Eagles and Lady Jonquill of Cape of Eagles, named Robin Reef. Nice. Alliteration. We love our alliteration, don't we, in the Knights of Andalia. Lord Vardis Grafton has been a leal and able servant, having successfully completed many tasks in the aid of Andalia. It will be seen as the right and honourable course to reward him with certain incomes and grants as to foster greater loyalty. Yes, agreed. He has been good for us. Sir Ryan of Howick and Lord Oliver Snow were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and broken lances, Lord Oliver was eventually unhorsed, leading Sir Ryan to be declared the winner. Who was the best? Ah, yes. So this guy that we're trying to invite, this interesting, formidable fighter, has won, which is good. He could make a good Kingsguard. Lord Benfrey Highstar and Lady Tessara Shycross were the next to joust, and Benfrey Highstar has got through, and Marwyn Crescent has beaten Sir Walter of Renwick to progress. So we're now, seem like we're down to our semi-finals, I think, now, aren't we? May you live in harmony and contentment. I accept your suggestion that Adrian and Lady Teresa get married. Perfect. She's now arrived at our court. She's very interesting. We've got some very strong female characters around us at present. Her, Nana Harlaw, Pia Snow. Lord Master Kennard of Orkmar accepted Lord Aragnar of the Seastone Isles peace offer. Your Grace, I have successfully crushed the rebellion led by the traitor Kennard Merlin, and hereby turn him over to you for your judgment. Perfect. Can we just send him to the Night's Watch? The Night's Watch could do with good men, as we know. We actually can't banish him, which is annoying. He is a lord. He's the Lord of Orkmont. He does have heirs. Well, he's only a random house. Let's call him for trial then, and hopefully we'll be able to send him to the wall. Sir John Hornbreaker and Lord Marwyn Crescent were the next to joust in the list. After many broken lances, Lord Marwyn eventually unhorsed, leaving Sir John Hornbreaker to be declared the winner. Rodwell Snow has arrived at your court. No idea. Who is your father? Sir Madden of Sevensgar and Lady Lolis of Sevensgar. Ah, yes, that was one of the bastards. Okay. Rodwell Snow. We'll keep an eye on you. Let's make you important. Lord Edwin of Silverspear revoked the castle of Bentbarrow from Rodwell Snow. Ah, he's revoked that title. Okay. Your Grace, may you live in harmony and contentment. I accept your gracious invitation and will join your court forthwith. Perfect. Let's find you a match then. How old are you again? You're 23, first man. We can go for a Andalgel for you, maybe. Someone from our own court, if possible. Lots of wildlings. Rogershire. Oh no, she went to join the Faith, didn't she? So we can't go for her. Melissa Highoak. She's a lot younger than you. You'd have to wait several years. Darla Redguard. Courtier in 27. Yeah, there you go. That's a very good match for you, a red guard. Perfect. At the age of 39, your subject, Leopold Roseheart, died frothing at the mouth. Okay, so he died of rabies. So rabies seems to be going around. And he was obviously married to Lady Alyssa, who we can't imprison, even though she escaped from our prison, which is infuriating. Lord Master Kendard demanded a trial before the court, which Lord Benfrey shall oversee to ensure justice is served. At the start of the trial, he is formally accused of illegal armed aggression against the Seastone Isle, a charge brought by Lord Ragnar Irontide. Lord Master Kennel begins to present his defence, but the court did not seem impressed. He cut a very unconvincing and nervous figure. Lord Benfrey shall interrogate him now. Strutting back and forth, Lord Benfrey masterfully questioned the accused, using every superlative available in the common tongue. He captivated the court, ripping through the accused's defence and showing them to be a liar. He made a strong case. A verdict has been reached. Lord Benfrey proclaims for the crime of high treason. I find Lord Master Kennard guilty. Head on apart. I will send him to the wall. My prisoner, Lord Master Kennard, is complaining about his snark, so, well, he may as well stay where he is for now, because he's going to the wall anyway. He'll be a lot colder on the wall. Lord Benfrey Lancer and Sir Ryan of Harwick were the next to joust, and Benfrey Lancer, the bear, has gone through. Looks like he's going to win the whole tournament then, doesn't it? Definitely going to be him, I imagine. Or the Crescent. The Crescent guy's still in it. Belvazar Bolton's had Kellyn removed from their treasury. He's not died, has he? No, he's not. No, he's not. He's gone into hiding, though, which is interesting on the wall. After many tilts over several days, only 2 knights remained undefeated. Lord Benfrey Highstar and Sir John Hornbreaker faced each other in the final joust. After many tilts of finally executed jousting, Sir John was unhorsed, leaving Benfrey Highstar to be declared the winner of the tourney, a worthy champion. Was that his 3rd tourney win now? No, 2 grand tourneys. That's impressive, Benfrey. Very impressive. Very impressive from John Hornbreaker as well, though. And I think that'll be the perfect place for a mid-POV as well, guys. Benfrey, an illustrious name with deep roots, and it would be an excellent name for me to honour my uncle and one of our most loyal knights at once. Artis, again, a superb name that acknowledges our history with a bastion of Andal nobility. Enger could also be good, though it may end up being confusing with my kinsman and brother. I hope no one hears me talking to myself. The young king ceased his gentle mutterings, closed the book he had been going through, and looked around the royal box sheepishly. Ever since his marriage to his beautiful wife Lister, the fresh-faced monarch had been going through heroes and legends as if it was holy scripture, seeking out names for which to grace his family tree. He knew that he should be paying attention to the Roseheart, but his true passions would always be literature and history. Stefan, he thought. Stefan is another excellent name. I better make a note of that. He wrote it down on the outer page of his copy. He remembered how, as a young boy, his favourite uncle, Maester Damon, had gifted him with the tome he now held. It was one of his most prized possessions. Lister was jolted from his rapport when he heard a small yelp of shock next to him. The king turned his head up and met the eyes of a young serving boy, who turned his face away, trying to hide very obvious discomfort as he fumbled with the wine. Lister put a hand to his face. While he was of the mind that while disfigured, his face was his face, and that would not change. He could not blame the lad for his reaction. The scars left from the surgery were neither pleasant to look at nor easy to look away from. He looked up just in time to see Lord Lancer send his opponent, Sir John Hornbreaker, sprawling out of the saddle. When the fallen knight managed to pick himself up from the earth, the crowd roared its approval. Lister had guessed that Lord Benfrey Highstar, a man some began dubbing the Paragon, would take the final win of the tourney. Still, many others too had shown their valour in the joust. The fresh-faced Hugh Royce, the Thunder Lord Byron Dondarian, the cousins Lady Tessara and Sir Belados Shycross, whose bitter joust had been justly called the Civil War. His own kinsmen, Sir Aengus Sevenstar and Bath Rosby too, showed the same skills as their shared ancestors. Rickard Clifton, Alan Stone, Victorian Reef, Harry and Firehand, Lionel Greenstar, and the new knight Sir Ryan all had shown what the flower of Andalian chivalry had produced. Perhaps these men would one day become legends worthy of praise like those before. Lister gave in to the thrill of the day and joined the thrall of the crowd. Okay, and we are back, and I've decided to try and go for medium realm authority throughout all of our kingdoms, which we should be able to do. And do we actually have the River of Hills kingdom? It appears we do. Interesting. So yeah, we're trying to improve that crown authority. We know that Lister needs to get that in checked. As victor of my tourney, Lord Benfrey Highstar has had the honour of choosing the Queen of Love and Beauty, so he decided to crown his own wife, Gale. We can't even say that name, but well played, Benfrey. I think he also made her Queen of Love and Beauty after the last tournament. Rhonda has arrived at our court. An Andal Northman with the brilliant steward and the attractive trait. Very nice. 18. Arrange a marriage. Have we got anyone who can make a good match for her? Enger? We could go for the Malister, but he's got the slow trait. Do we really want to waste the slow trait? Let's go for our cousin Aengus Sevenstar. That could be a good match for him, and they are of age almost. Has our wife got her adult picture yet? No, still not got her adult picture. Be interesting to know when she is going to get that. Let's forward things along, though. What's going to happen now the tourney is out of the way? Peace with you, I accept your suggestion that Sir Enger and Rhonda get married. How is our severely injured going? Still severely injured. Dale Volmark has called in a favour on Former. Okay, nothing to worry about too much. Factions, we've still got the Crown Loyalists, which is great. Some people are trying to get Enger for the throne. A couple of things going on in the Iron Islands. Star's going for independence, of course. And Daenerys Corbury is yet again plotting. Betrothed can marry. Who's that? Prince Alice of Andalia and Pyron Seymour. Yes, let's send that and get that one out of the way. Hopefully this one won't backfire like the Belmore match, which unfortunately caved in on itself. May live in hiding contentment. I accept your suggestion that Princess Alice and Pyron get married. Thank you, Lord John the Unready. Albert Viperin has had Passage of the Dead added to their treasury. Interesting. I don't think there's much more in the way of decisions and such that we can do. At the age of 0, your subject, Robard Risewell, died stillborn. That's a shame. That's a point. Have the Greystarks... Oh, the Greystarks have had another daughter, Robin Greystark. Why was we not informed about this? I was going to say, have the Greystarks had any more kids? Because they were a little bit close to extinction. They were pushing it a little bit close. But thankfully, they have. Right, decisions. Is there anything else we can do? Command our Household Guard. Hold a feast. Well, there's no point doing that again. Go on a foreign tour. Age is greater or equal to 18. I may go on a foreign tour. That could be. We can buy a mask, but I don't think Lister's going to be bothered about such things as that. To be honest, I don't think it's going to bother him at all that he has been disfigured. Let's command our Household Guard. Let's get them to do something. Let's train some small folk drill soldiers and fort. Yeah, train some soldiers. Let's improve our levy size. Why not? Let's get them doing something. They've not done anything for quite some time. That's a point, actually, on my council. And Ragnar Maiden has died a natural death beyond the wall at the age of 53. Interesting. Yes, I was going to go on to our council, minor titles, and we can remove... Oh, who do we remove from our bodyguards? I don't really want to remove any of them for that new guy, actually, now looking at them. All our commanders are set. Who's on our actual... Who's our High Admiral now? Master of Ships, Quentin Botley. He's not a loyalist, so I'm going to resign him from the council now. If we can do that, please. Fire Councillor. Yes, it's going to upset him, unfortunately, but we're going to do that. Let's look for a new High Admiral. Who's got the greatest opinion? How good is Maynard Greystark's opinion of us? Because I wouldn't mind having him as our High Admiral with that whale that he's got, or at least somebody who's a little bit more seafaring. And it appears that Maynard Greystark doesn't seem to have a great... He's not even on here for... Ah, there he is, Maynard Greystark, perfect. And he's a zealot, apparently. I think we're happy with the rest of the council. Our advisors, Sir Joa, who was our other advisor. We should have 2 advisors. Kristen Creed, ah yes, perfect, yes. Very, very loyal, as we know. Poor old Lister, that... Ouch. He's lost that nose. It's a shame that we, he seems to have lost his crown now that he's been disfigured. And our wife has now got her adult portrait, and... Okay. Apparently she's fat, but she hasn't got the fat trait, but she looks a bit fat, but okay, whatever. Our queen has now come of age. Hopefully we can get her... She's got a martial education, which is interesting. Hopefully we can get a child on her soon. If we're lucky. Lord Caven has voted against levy-focused church obligations. Okay, that doesn't involve us too much. That's fine. What could we do? I want to go on a foreign tour when we turn 18. We've not had somebody who's done that yet. Who's our other prisoner? Ah, yes, Lady Zosha, the Reaver of Harlaw. Could we revoke your title? Would it upset people? Yes, it would upset all of our vassals, which is a shame. I was going to give it to Nana Harlaw instead. We can call her for trial, though, so let's do it. Let's get a trial for the old sea bitch of Harlaw. Lady Zosha Harlaw has demanded trial by combat and is summoning her champion to Sevensport. Fair enough, if that's what you want. Wonder who her champion will be. I hope it's not Nana Harlaw. That would be rather unfortunate. Lady Minister of Dalton's Keep has exiled somebody. The Lords of the Iron Isles have approved the institution of the Medium Realm Authority. Perfect. So we've managed to improve our Realm Authority. The guards drag Zosha Harlaw up from her cell and throw her at your feet. I've come for justice, she says. By right of birth and blood, I demand a trial by combat. Stigard Saltcliffe will be my champion. Okay, a 50-year-old trained fighter. 70 personal combat. Okay, you have that right. I will select someone to stand for his High King. Who should be the champion? We've got Sir Ryan Harwick, Sir Daffing Darkblade, Lord Benfrey Highstar, and Quentin Botley. Oh, he's wounded, so we can't go for Sir Ryan. Benfrey's too old. Let's go for Daffin Darkblade then. Sir Daffin steps forward. I'll stand for you, your grace. Fight well, Sir Daffin. You watch with glee as Sir Daffin drives his sword relentlessly at Stigard Saltcliffe, beating him into submission and forcing him to yield. The gods have cast their judgment and Zosha Harlaw is guilty. Perfect. Execute her, the gods command it. I hereby exile you from the kingdom of Andalia. Let her rot in a cell. She can stay as my guest. Let's execute her. We can't send her to the wall, so she will be beheaded. which means that a Jogus Nye has now inherited Harlaw, which is annoying. Lord Commander Belvazar the Brilliant has inherited command of the Shadow Tower from Malador the Rash. Okay, and he's been in prison, which is weird. New Lord Commander on the wall. Night gathers and now my watch begins. Who's this new Lord Commander? Malador Toolheart. Okay, so what has happened to Belvazar the Brilliant? My god, he saves everybody, and then he's now imprisoned by Lord Commander Malador in the Castle of Eastwatch. Interesting. Lord Wayland of Bramsfort decided to exile Harry of Thurlot. That doesn't really mean out to us. Lord Ellis of Longbow Hall has ransomed somebody from Danes the Wise. Okay, that makes sense as well. Let's continue to forward things along. Hopefully having some time of peace and prosperity for a little while. How are our wards doing? Danes Rivers, and could do with arranging a marriage for him. Can we actually arrange a betrothal for him with him being in our court? Yes, we can. Do we have anyone worthy of marrying a lord who's around his age? Not really at present, unfortunately. That's fine. And who was our other ward? Our other ward is Lionel Redguard, who's 12. I doubt we have anyone to marry him to either, unfortunately. We can try. Let's have a look. He's 12 years old. 9-year-old Harlaw, which could be interesting. A 4-year-old Darry. Yeah, there's nothing really in the way of that either, to be honest. So we'll give that a miss and just forward things along. High King Lister Sevenstar, I hereby invite you to participate in the tourney of White Star, where the best knights and lords of the north shall be invited to compete. A chance to prove my worth. Yes, let's give it another go. We are a skilled fighter. Hopefully we'll do it all. We are severely injured though, so that probably wasn't a good idea. Oops. That was a very foolish thing to do. Dale Volmark brought in a favour. Okay. Doesn't affect us too much, but worth looking into anyway. How is the north now doing? Okay, so a couple of the things are already being captured by a Wildling King, which is interesting. How's the Westerlands looking? Pretty much the same. They don't look to have expanded anymore. The Stormlands own their split kingdom. Dawn is very much united. Who's it united under again? Ah, yes, Lord Hallamore, Andal Invader, who has carved out the Kingdom of Dawn for himself. Wendell Stark has called in a favour on Aragamore Hardsteel. Okay. I think that's the one from Children, isn't it? From the Seymour lands, if I remember correctly. The Tourney Herald announces the competitors for the next charge. You have been drawn against Lord Kristen Creed. You mount your charge and take a lance from your squire and ride to the end of the lists, breaking into a gallop. Okay, so he's a decent fighter, but he is old. Steady. I just hope we don't die in this. Your opponent got the better of you when you met in the centre of the list. Your lance nearly makes a glancing blow on their armour while their lance hits true. Lord Kristen Creed's lance strikes you square in the middle of your breastplate, exploding into many pieces as it hits. The force knocks the wind out of you and sends you flying from your horse. You are left lying in the dirt, defeated as the crowd cheers Lord Kristen. Okay. Lord Kristen Creed has been declared the winner, defeating you and eliminating you from the tourney. That's fine, as long as we didn't die. I was a bit worried about dying then. And it was Enger Sevenstar and Sir Ben Lance's turn in the joust in the list, and Sir Ben was won soundly. In the final tilt, Sir Enger was sent flying from his saddle in a hail of shattered lance pieces. He landed with a sickening crunch, clearly grievously injured. And he's now lost one of his legs, our cousin. How unfortunate. Well, he can't... I'm sorry, Sir Enger, but if you've lost a leg, you can no longer serve on our Kingsguard, can you? Let's be perfectly honest. So we're going to have to replace you with that new guy, wherever he is. Ryan Harwick. Perfect. Sorry, Enger. We can't have a one-legged bodyguard. Lord Benfrey Lancer and Lord Marwyn Crescent were the next to joust. Lord Benfrey the Bear won. He's probably going to win yet another tourney here, isn't he? Sir Gawain Snow and Sir Ben Lancer were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and break lances, Sir Ben Snow was announced the winner. Ah, right, okay, so he's a Lancer bastard who also has inherited the strong trait and skilled fighter. Nice. He's pretty interesting. Can we invite him to court? A decent bastard of Blue Star and Lancer blood? No, unfortunately not. We'll make him important so we can keep an eye on him anyway. And see what he turns into. He would have been a decent knight to have around court. Lord Benfrey Lancer and Sir Gawain Snow were the next to joust in the list. After many tilts and break lances, Sir Gawain was eventually on horse, leaving Lord Benfrey to be declared the winner. Looks like Lord Benfrey's going to win the whole tournament again then. Lady Betha the Shadow has inherited City of Fairmarket from Commander Derrimond of Fairmarket. Okay. After many tilts over several days, 2 knights remained. Lord Benfrey Lancer and Lord Harrion Firehand, again in a final, and Benfrey Lancer has unhorsed Harrion Fire. Poor Harrion. Whilst at the tourney in White Star, you have been spending much time in your pavilion with a beautiful local girl of common birth. She is asking to come back with you to Sevensport. Okay. Slow, but she is attractive, envious, paranoid, rude, gregarious. I would like to, but I can't allow it. We get stressed, or we can let her, but he falls in love with her. Ooh, we're gonna gain stressed. Looking at Lister, I can't see Lister. I can't see Lister doing that. I can't see him having an affair. The horrific wound from your maiming is now stinking and oozing pus. The pain is debilitating, and the courtiers are avoiding you like death itself. That's not good. Loses the trait severely injured, gains the trait infection and scarred. Ouch. And yeah, it does look a little bit sore. And the tourney of White Star is now over. We need to choose an education focus for Prince Owen. Oh, well, it's definitely got to be diplomacy, hasn't it? Wow, he's got 3 traits. Oh, it could be intrigue, but his diplomacy is much better, so definitely diplomacy. Yeah, he's with Lord Vardis of Ghoultown. Looks perfect. He looked like he was developing pretty nicely. Can we seek treatment? Unfortunately, we can't, which is a shame. I hope we don't die from our wound. I hope it doesn't get too infected. What negative effects does the infection have upon us? Only lowers our health by 2. So it's not as bad as rabies, which went to 7, which I think we definitely would have died from if not for having the, obviously, severe treatment that we had done. Yeah, we can't risk a tourney. Not again. It was foolish to do it last time. And what do we need? A new commander. Let's have a look what we've got. Nana Harlaw, but she's not actually a commander. Sansa Firehand, who's a dutiful commander. Byron Dondarian. Yeah, we'll go with him. He's a dutiful commander. He's half decent martial-wise. Why not? A decent choice. How is Harrion doing now? Has he had a son? Yes, he's had a son. Winton. Why are none of these sons popping up? Well, these children that people are having have. Winton Firehand, born with the strong trait. Awesome. Perfect. And his daughter, Eleanor Firehand. Nice. At least now the Firehand line is secure. We know the Rack line's very secure. Why is the Rack sigil suddenly changed? Hi King Lister Sevenstar, I hereby invite you to participate in the tourney of Erenford. I am staying well and truly away from Erenford. Has he converted to R'hllor? Yes, he has. Well, he is a lunatic with gonorrhea. Well, that's extremely interesting. The High Lordship of the Stranger's Hills, has that been recreated then? No. I'm going to say, he's got a claim on it. Why have you converted to R'hllor? Have you made your children... No, your children are still Andal Northman, Faith of the Seven, which is good. Could probably find a match for Ariane Rack now. Have we got anyone in our court that would be a good match for her? Someone of her age, maybe. 14, no. The Malister boy could be good, actually. The Malister boy might be good. Let's arrange a marriage between her and Lucius Malister. Yes. Send, perfect. A decent match for him, our friend. Make sure that we sort him out decently. Very good fighter. How are the other Racks looking? Who's the heir? Moribald Rack. He's the quick one, isn't he? Yes, he's pretty good. Why has he not got an education focus? Well, intrigue's his best, but he doesn't really have any intrigue-focused traits. He's a poor fighter. He's quick. His stewardship's pretty decent. We know the Racks are good at stewardship, so we'll stick with the stewardship focus. What about the others? Medgar Rack, who I think is also in our court. He's... Looking at that, he's more... Oh, we don't actually get to choose for him. That's fair enough. And Samwar Rack, too young to tell. Too young to tell yet. How's our inbred friend of Oldcastle doing? 15-year-old now. Married to a Redfort. Interesting. Lady Alyssa of Oldcastle. Nice. Unfortunately, he is inbred, though. Which he's actually managed to get some traits, though. So he probably wouldn't be half bad if it weren't for the inbred. Because obviously inbred gives you -5 on everything, which is awful. He'd actually probably be half decent if not for the fact that everyone in Andalia is very, very, very inbred. I hope that we get over this wound. Can we not seek treatment for our illness still? No. That sucks. We I don't want us to die from our infection. How old is our brother now, as our brother is our heir still? Prince Engar. 13 now. Looking pretty impressive. Diplomacy, stewardship, decent intrigue. Yeah, he's pretty decent. Some interesting traits. Ruthless, stubborn, authoritative, honest, chaste, just, cynical, trained fighter, haughty, and brooding. Flipping hell, it's like looking at Stannis. Nice. Prince Engar could be a Stannis. The middle brother. Actually, so the middle brother is very Stannis, and the younger brother was very, fashionable, decent diplomacy. Owen's basically Renly, but Lister doesn't remind me of Robert in the slightest. That's the only difference. Right, let's continue to forward things along, see if we can get anything to happen. If not, we've wound down the episode. I can't believe the Rack Lord has converted to R'hllor. What is that all about? I believe that one of the vassals can be discouraged from associating with conspiratorial factions if the proper leverage is used. Yes, of course, we sent you to deal with the errand stars, didn't we? Threaten the vassal. Let's try and scare him in line. I ask for your forgiveness. If I have done something to offend you, I obviously wouldn't dream of associating with any factions conspiring against you or your enlightened rule. You are forgiven. That puts the errand stars in their place, it would seem. Something I do need to do, actually. Well, I'm thinking about it. I don't know if to do it or not just yet. And that is the Kingdom of the Iron Isles. We can actually convert Kingdom tier. Kingdom of the Iron Isles is converted into a King/Lord Paramite tier title. Yes, do it. So we'll do that with that. I'm going to do it with the Veil, but it doesn't mean I'm going to give it away. I'm just going to do it so that they are actually split. So there is only one Kingdom title, one Empire title. Convert Kingdom tier, yes. I don't know if I want to give it away, because then it makes it so there's so many lords and stuff that we can't convert this Kingdom of the Rivers and Hills into a King Lord Paramount tier. Yes. There we go. So the rivers... Oh, no, we've just... Yeah, there we go. So the Rivers and Hills, Kingdom of the Trident, which we do need to turn up to medium realm authority throughout all of our realm. These are all Paramounts now, which is nice. We need to destroy the Kingdom of the Neck, really. I don't know why we've still got the Kingdom of the Neck. But that's cool. We've now got 3 Lord Paramounts here. The Kingdom of the Paramounts of the Trident, the Veil, and the Iron Islands, which we could use to make Lord Paramounts in the realm. The only thing that puts me off that is if they don't ever join you, you could end up losing the entire bit of the Veil in a war, which is a lot of manpower, or if 2 of those do that at once. And also, you can't then really interact with all of these amazing characters. By us having them all as vassals, we can have Belmores and Corbrys and Templetons, Graftons and Royces on the court. Whereas if we were to give it to Benfrey Highstar, we could only have Benfrey Highstar. We couldn't have the others as our councillors without force moving them to our court. So that's the only thing that puts me off doing Lord Paramounts, as well as it could really come back to bite us if 1 or 2 kingdoms decide not to help us in a war. Say we get attacked by the West and the Vale, and the Riverlands are like, oh, I don't want to get involved. We'd be well and truly screwed, wouldn't we? Well and truly. Your Grace, we have had word from... I don't care. I don't care what's going on over the Narrow Sea. It does not concern me in the slightest. I think, actually, we'll end this episode here then, guys, and come back next week with the rest of Lister's reign. Don't forget to stick around for the MPOV, because, of course, we'll have one of those. We're not going to take part in this tourney, I'm afraid. But, yeah, please don't forget to like and comment down below. As always, as I say, I love reading your comments on this series. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode of the Knights of Andalia. The lands of Realwater Crossing had never meant to belong to his house, but now they were his to rule. They had been conquered in a brief but brutal war at the later end of his mother's life, when that madness in her head had grown. The madness that had led her to eventually try and claim the regency, and then led her to murder Lord Moribald Rack. Though the new Rack Lord seemed to be a true non-believer, having accepted some red eastern god instead of the Seven. What was the realm coming to, he thought. His eyes wandered across the lands that he was touring. Ever since he had taken over the rulership of the Father's Fields, he had desired a change of course. His house was loyal, renowned for it, but his house also had a special reputation for their close relationship to their faith. There was his great-grandsire, the Burned Lord. There had been many rumours about how quickly he had converted his lands. Harrion was often compared to him in regards to his military mind and fighting prowess. Then his grandsire, whom men called the Evil. had been a staunch supporter of the faith even when fighting alongside the Greystarks, and then there was his mother, who had always seen her actions as the gods' will. Each believed that to best serve their faith, they must eradicate the lands of the old god worshippers. Harrion was different though. His faith was strong and healthy. He nurtured his relationship with his gods and felt no need to push it on others. He prayed that all may come to the gods and be saved, but the choice must be their own. His faith was tested during the long, bloody war with the Rackes, but he had found comfort in his faith, in the quiet moments before battle, when the world itself held its breath. Then, during the fighting, Harrion felt their presence, guiding his mind and his arm. It was often that he felt a touch of some outer-worldly being alerting him to a danger before it could harm him, be it a sword swung from behind or a ploy by the enemy commander trying to outmaneuver him. In these moments he knew his god stood with him. This was partly why he had come to these lands, to spread the faith through peaceful means and make the land stronger that way. The people would be allowed to keep their godswords and signs of worship, but alongside them he would have septons preaching and septs built. He knew that in time they would come to accept the new gods into their lives, but there was no need to do it through force. He rode into the village on his great warhorse. Behind him rode multiple men showing the red hand of Firehand on their sigil. With a few carriages behind them, he had come to bring food to the village, as well as to get to know his people, and to be away from Barraton. After he and his wife had lost their firstborn son, the castle held nothing but loss and pain. The gods had taken his mother and a son from him. The child had lived less than a fortnight before the stranger had taken him too. To get away from these unhappy halls, he had visited each of his lords and attended every tourney he could. Although the tourneys didn't go completely in his favour, he had begun to make a name for himself as an accomplished tourney knight, and he had founded a healthy rivalry with Lord Benfrey Highstar, who had so far gotten the best of him whenever they met in the tilts. When he had left home this latest time, his wife had been pregnant again, but he was too scared to witness the loss of another child. Raising his hand, the caravan of men stopped behind him as people came into the town square to see what was happening. There was still some shyness that he held to be the lord and all, but this would serve him well. Clearing his throat, he addressed them. "People of Realwater Crossing, I am Lord Harrion Firehand and your liege lord. I am sure that many of you have heard the tales of my family." He saw in their face that the stories were clearly familiar to them. "But I have come to assure you that I am not like my forefathers. The gods have tasked me to protect over the people that I govern, and that is what I intend to do. I will have a small sept built here, but the gods' wood shall remain. You are free to worship those that you wish. As an offering of goodwill, I have come with food from my own stores to feed all here. In time, I hope that you all shall have the chance to accept the seven as your gods, but that choice shall be your own. It is my belief that each man, woman and child is welcome in the halls of the gods, should they choose to accept the seven of their own free will. This is the only way the faith that I hold can expand, the only true way, because that is how the gods intended it." With that, he watched their faces show a mix of shock and surprise at his words. At his nod, his men began unloading the food and distributing it amongst the village. Harrion himself dismounted, Dragon Scourge resting at his side. He began talking with the people of the land, wishing to know their concerns and what they desired. He wanted to know how best to serve them. Suddenly, his thoughts were interrupted as a rider came to join them. Dismounting from his horse, he ran towards Harrion and knelt before the Lord. "My Lord Firehand, I have word from your lady wife." There was a moment of horror in his eyes as to what could have happened. "She has given birth to a healthy son, born but a fortnight ago, and the boy seems to be a robust and healthy child." Thank the seven, a silent tear fell from his face. He had a son, a true living son and heir.